Hello everyone, welcome to Tennis Fan Video. Alex Eala has revealed that she first met Rafael Nadal by accident just days before she officially joined the Spaniard's academy in Mallorca. World number 29 Eala is among the most prominent players to have progressed and graduated through the Rafa Nadal Academy, which is based in the tennis icon's hometown in Mallorca. The Filipina has become one of the biggest stars in tennis ever since her breakout run at the Miami Open 12 months ago, and still trains at the academy when she is not traveling to tournaments. Eala has previously spoken about how Nadal is her tennis idol and how the 22-time Grand Slam champion has often offered her advice, though it appears her first meeting with the Spaniard came in rather unusual circumstances. Rather than first meeting Nadal in Manacor, the 20-year-old has revealed in a recent interview with Serve that she and her family stumbled upon the tennis great whilst traveling to the academy. So, the first interaction with Rafa, like in the academy space around that time, was not actually in the academy, she said. Before we did a trial, we'd go there like 1 week, we'll see how it goes. So my parents and my brother and we flew over. In the Madrid airport, we just happened to pass by Rafa on the way to his academy. We all chased him down. It was like, we're going to your academy, can we take a pic? And yeah, he took a pic with us, so that was the first interaction I remember in Spain. A good way to start, I would say. Nadal has publicly congratulated Eala for a number of her recent successes, and the two shared a special practice session during the off-season ahead of 2026. However, the Filipina admits that she still finds it difficult to talk to the 39-year-old whenever they do spend time together. Eala added, "After that, I don't really remember. He's just there a lot, and he's very down-to-earth when you talk to him, of course. He asks questions and things like that, but it's just that he's Rafa, so you're always going to be scared. Like I'm always still scared. I don't know what to say. I always get very tongue-tied. I'll let you know it doesn't get better, or at least, it doesn't get easier." Eala was recently in action at the Miami Open, where she fell to a heavy 6-0, 6-2 defeat against 13th seed Karolina Muchova in the fourth round. Defeat for the 20-year-old means that she will drop back outside the top 40 of the WTA rankings next week, with Eala only able to defend 120 of the 390 ranking points from her run to the semifinal 12 months ago. However, she will have the chance to bounce back when she kickstarts her clay court season at the Linz Open, a WTA 500 event being held in 2 weeks. Alexandra Eala, the prodigious Filipino tennis star, had long been chasing excellence, driven by the dream of refining her game under the tutelage of the very best. Her eyes were set on Spain, on the sun-drenched courts of the Rafael Nadal Academy, a place where legends are molded, and the scent of clay is infused with discipline, ambition, and history. Yet before the structured drills, the grueling sessions, and the relentless pursuit of mastery, there was a moment so unexpected, so bizarre, that would forever color her memory of the start of this chapter. It began on a humid spring afternoon in Mallorca. Alexandra had flown across continents, carrying not just her luggage, but the weight of her aspirations. The academy campus stretched before her, modern yet intimate, echoing with the rhythm of tennis balls against clay courts. She had been warned that meeting Nadal was not as simple as walking up and shaking hands. The world's greatest competitors were, after all, human. But Rafael Nadal was Rafael Nadal, stoic, focused, almost mythical in presence. Alex's first impression of Nadal wasn't in a carefully orchestrated welcome ceremony or a formal introduction. No, it was in the most unexpected way possible. As she approached the academy's central court, she noticed a lone figure in full training gear, bending down and appearing to inspect something on the ground. She assumed it was a coach or a maintenance staff member. Gathering her courage, she walked up, intending to introduce herself, to express her excitement. "Hello, I'm Alexandra Eala," she said, extending her hand with a polite smile. The figure slowly straightened up. And then, in a voice that was both calm and subtly amused, came the response that would forever be etched in her memory. "Do you like strawberries?" Alex blinked. "Strawberries?" She glanced around, momentarily confused. She expected greetings, perhaps a compliment, a simple handshake, or even a nod. But strawberries? She hesitated, unsure whether she was missing a joke, a cultural nuance, or some kind of initiation ritual. Yes, she answered cautiously, half expecting him to burst out laughing. Nadal smiled, a small, knowing smile that carried both mischief and warmth. Good. I always eat strawberries before training, he explained, as if it were the most natural thing in the world. It gives energy, focus, and maybe luck. Alex couldn't help but laugh. Here she was, standing on one of the most famous tennis courts in the world, facing a multiple Grand Slam champion, and their conversation had begun with fruit. It was bizarre, yes, but it also felt strangely humanizing. It broke the ice in a way that no formal introduction could ever have done. From there, the conversation shifted in gentle, unexpected ways. Nadal, with his quiet charisma, asked about her travels, her favorite foods, and surprisingly, her favorite players growing up. Alexandra found herself sharing stories of her childhood tournaments in the Philippines, of training under punishing schedules, and of the dreams that had carried her across oceans to this very moment. Nadal listened attentively, nodding, occasionally offering a piece of advice, but always returning to the warmth of that odd, strawberry-laced introduction. What struck Alexandra most was Nadal's balance of intensity and approachability. Here was a man who had battled through some of the most grueling matches in tennis history, who had endured pressure, injuries, and the relentless glare of public expectation. Yet he could stop, ask about strawberries, and make a young player from across the world feel welcome. That bizarre first question became, in her mind, a symbol of what made Nadal both legendary and relatable. As the days progressed, Alexandra joined the Academy's training sessions, diving into drills that tested her endurance, technique, and mental focus. She watched Nadal in action, precise, relentless, and impossibly fast, and she began to understand that those seemingly quirky moments were a window into his philosophy. Tennis, he seemed to suggest, was not only about power, precision, or trophies. It was about joy, routine, and attention to the small details that build champions. Eating strawberries before practice might sound trivial, but it was emblematic of preparation, mindfulness, and respect for the process. Reflecting on that first interaction, Alexandra realized that the bizarre nature of it was precisely what made it impactful. It had reminded her not to take herself too seriously, to find moments of levity amidst pressure, and to appreciate the human side of the sport. Nadal's question had been odd, unexpected, and yet perfectly fitting. It was a reminder that greatness could coexist with humility, that the path to excellence could be marked by small, personal rituals, and that connection between people, even in elite sports, often comes in the most unusual forms. By the end of her first week at the Academy, Alexandra felt a renewed sense of purpose. The initial awkwardness had faded, replaced by inspiration and resolve. She knew the road ahead would be challenging, demanding, and full of high-pressure situations, but the bizarre encounter with Rafael Nadal would remain a source of encouragement. Whenever she felt overwhelmed by expectations or self-doubt, she would remember the strawberries. She would recall the way a legend had met her not with pomp, but with a simple, curious question, an invitation into a world of learning, growth, and shared humanity. In a way, that unusual first interaction perfectly captured the essence of Alexandra's journey at the Academy. It was unexpected, a little surreal, and slightly humorous, yet it carried a lesson that transcended tennis. It reminded her that in the pursuit of greatness, it's often the small, quirky moments that leave the deepest impressions. And as she continued her training, refining her game with meticulous care, she carried with her not just the techniques and strategies imparted by one of the sport's greatest minds, but also a story of strawberries, smiles, and the wonderfully human side of Rafael Nadal. In the end, Alexandra Eala didn't just join the Rafael Nadal Academy to improve her tennis. She joined it to witness, firsthand, the unique blend of discipline, heart, and unexpected humor that defines a champion. And that bizarre, strawberry-laced first interaction, it became more than a story to tell. It became a symbol of her journey, a reminder that sometimes the path to greatness starts in the most delightfully strange ways. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like, and share. Till next time.